What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's video. We are going over all the baby lighting tips and tricks today, and we are not doing a root smudge either. So I'm going to show you guys kind of how you can approach this look and get a full coverage blonde, again using all the baby lights, no root smudging, and just some tips and tricks along the way. So let's go ahead and get on started. So I'm going to part my client off in a mohawk sectioning along her natural part. This is how I do most of my like higher impact blonding services. I'm using the mohawk sectioning because I feel like I'm able to get more blonding in versus just going off her natural part. Starting off at the top of the mohawk, I take a very fine section and I'm just going to be doing all baby weaves for this. For weaving, I have learned that it's best to, for me at least, to lift up the hair at a 45-degree angle, and I use the very tip of my comb with very light pressure, and I just kind of do little skips along the hair, pretty much. I know another good tip you can do is going in like an O shape. That's another good one. But using very light pressure and just very like lightly skipping along each section is better, at least better for me. So I'm going to show you guys close up right now. Here I am skimming off that section, lift up to that 45 degrees, light pressure. As you guys see, I'm not holding my brush very tightly. That light pressure really helps. And then I'm going to over direct the hair like right there at a 90-degree angle right here, and then I use the tip of my foiling comb to really get that foil in as close as I can up to the scalp. And then in saturating, I start off in zone 2 and then I walk up to zone 1, keeping my brush horizontal. And then the only time I'm ever doing it vertical is if I'm just like double checking the saturation. But in order to like lay down my product, I'm not gonna feather up to the root or anything. I just use that brush again horizontally and I walk it up. And then here you see me, I'm folding my foils up into thirds, and then I use my foiling comb and that lip to lock everything in. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing all around. I'll get into a little bit more detail work when I get to the money piece. But yeah, no, you guys, I feel like light pressure, lifting up the hair at that 45-degree angle and just skipping along the hair right close to the scalp too. Foiling close to the scalp will give you the finest weave. The further away you foil, then the more you're going to get more of a ribbon type of weave. So depending on what you want will depend on that end result. So again, we're doing a really blended blonde. I don't really want any ribbons. I want it to be as blended as possible. So, and really nice and soft too. So that's why I am doing it that way. But I'll use more ribbon placements in teasy lights. Up here in the money piece area, I'm doing the same thing. Just the only thing was I started off with 2 back-to-back slices, very, very fine slices. Don't overthink it. Don't get too crazy. And then I'm going in with very fine baby lights, very, very fine weaves. And I'm going along the curvature of her head. So that's where you see me doing the more angled highlights, or I should say the more angled foil placement. And then I meet in the middle, and I'm going to work my way back until I meet with the foils that were in the back of the mohawk. And then I'm going to head over here to the side soon, and you're going to see me right now. One big foiling tip I have for you guys to help with time is to wait to fold your foils until you have your whole section done, like what you guys just saw. You lock them into place until, like, fold them into place, but then locking them and doing all the extra folding, I like to wait until I'm done with that section. You guys can see me even now. I, again, do my foil, I fold them up into thirds, lock them into place, and I'm going to leave them be. I'll fold the other ones out of the way and get them out of her face when I'm done with this section, but this helps to eliminate so much extra time. I like to say that I am a fast foiler, but I'm a detailed foiler. I do a ton of detail work, and I do a lot of high coverage blondes. It's my specialty. So it takes me a minute to foil. Like, there's no doubt about it. My clients know, ask them. But you know, if you can do any time saving things behind the chair, this one's a big one. I feel like that really helps to, I'm all about eliminating like wasted time. And I feel like, again, foiling each foil into 8 million sections or 8 million folds, like it's an origami thing, that wastes unnecessary time, in my opinion, when we could be spending that time, you know, getting our blondes as blonde as they want to be, like right here. So that's what you can see me doing right here. And as you guys kind of saw, and I'll show you over here on this side too, I just kind of go along with the shape of the head and her growth pattern. So you see me here, I'll always go in like more diagonal sections along the hairline. Again, I did 2 very fine slices, and then I kind of started working my way into more baby lights. Right over the ear, sometimes I'll do a few slices as well. It just depends on everyone's hairline. She's got pretty fine hair, so I can kind of get away with some finer slices on the hairline more, and without it looking too chunky, as long as you keep them very fine. Everyone is just slightly different. Who is a good candidate for a full baby light without a root tap? So that has my 2 big indications on if they're a good candidate or not is their color history / their natural color. Where are they starting out at? Now, my client right now, all she has done are highlights. So her root is her natural root, and she is a natural level like 6, 7-ish. So I say as long as they are a level like a light level 6 or anything lighter, that already makes them a great candidate. And then number 2, how often do they want to come back? If they are planning on coming back anywhere between a 6 to 8 week mark, if they don't want a root tap, you don't have to do one. And if they're coming back anything longer than a 6 to 8 week, like I'd say I'll push it to 10 weeks if they're okay with like those last few weeks. Their hair just might be looking like it really needs done. They're okay with that, great. Anything longer than 10, or if they're anything at like a dark level 6 to like lower, I will suggest even just a slight root tap, because that will just help to really diffuse the line of demarcation when it starts to grow out, and it helps to blend in those foil lines with the natural base. So even if they are coming back in very frequently, but they just have dark hair and they can't help it, it just helps for everything to blend and be fluid and make sense. So keep that in mind. That's kind of how I go. That's kind of how I base it. Here, pulling out the foils, and then you're going to see me, I'm going to use a clarifying shampoo first. That kind of helps to remove any buildup. I've been really liking doing this with my blondes lately. 1, I feel like everyone still kind of has a little bit of a drier scalp lately. And 2, I really feel like this helps to give it a really clean canvas for everything to pre-tone and tone very evenly. As you saw, I used Fanola No Yellow Purple Shampoo to pre-tone. I'm using Olaplex number 2 right now as a treatment, and I keep this on underneath the hair while I'm toning as well. So for toning, I am splitting her hair up into 2 sections, and I'm going to be using my toner bottle. Starting off in the root, I just apply it along her part line, as you guys see, and then I just use my hands to kind of disperse it. And I get all through the new growth all the freshly highlighted new growth first. I don't know if you guys could see, but her ends are actually very light already. She takes a very good care of her hair at home, and her toner thankfully stays really well, especially with it being like an ashy, icy toner. It actually stays really, really well. So I really just needed to kind of brighten them up a little bit and just freshen them up and give them a little touch up, if you will. If you're in the opposite boat and the ends need refreshed, or if they've kind of dulled out, I'll either go in with a balayage or a Malibu blonde, or sometimes if they're not bad but they just need a little bit of an extra kick, I'll tone the ends first and then I'll work my way up to the root. But that's kind of how I did it in this case. As you guys see, I'm checking to see more so once when the toner is starting to activate and work, that's when I'm going to start to brush the rest of the toner through the ends. This kind of helps, I feel like, because it makes it kind of gives it like that expensive look to it, where the ends are super light and not too overtoned, and the root has that good toning power in it as well. And it just pretty much just helps from anything, the more porous areas, from picking up too much. Because as you guys see, I actually haven't even started in her money piece area yet. I'm about to do that here right now. When everything is almost done, that's kind of when I go through the money piece. And this is kind of a way too to give your clients a money piece that are just fully baby lighted blondes that aren't too rooted, because sometimes that is the hard thing with baby lighted blondes, is if they want the money piece or they want that brightness in the front, you don't want to like root them, but it's kind of hard for things to sometimes stand out in the front. So this is a great way to do it if you can. Toner, I used 9AI, 9AA, 9GI, and a little bit of 10V from Oligo Calura Gloss. This is like the perfect formula that I love for just like that perfect bright white, ashy, icy blonde. Nothing too gold, nothing too cool. Just that perfect in between. And here you go, guys. Here's everything all done. I loved it. My client loved it. This was actually our first time not doing a root tap on her. We started with a root tap the first couple times, and we were ready for the full thing. So we loved it. I hope you guys learned something new. And let me know what other videos you guys want to see down in the comments below. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.